Might hear off in the background there, I got the air compressor going for the tire machine because it's tire day. I need to finish up the tubes on this machine here. As you can see, when there's a tube in, it's sitting pretty nice. But I don't know if this camera will get the angle right, but when there's no air in the tires, they're a different size altogether. They're just way smaller and they're not doing anything and they're just being a nuisance. But look at, I mean, here on the back, this tire is actually right off the ground. Can you see that? I don't even know. I'm trying to show you, but there you go. Right off the ground, it's so small because there's no air in the tire. This one's got a tube in it and it's just right. 66-inch outside diameter. So last time I only showed one tire being changed, and I did it like I edited the heck out of it. I want to show you in a little more detail what it takes to do one of these tires, because with the number of tires on this thing, I wouldn't really recommend this as a hobby if you don't have a tire machine, because you're just going to be, I mean, I can see myself removing tires all the time, doing different things, fixing punctures, that kind of thing, and I just could not really imagine trying to do this with one of those little, manual tire machines. It's hard enough with the big car tire machine. I'm kind of surprised the car tire machine even works, but it barely works. So let's carry on. I'll set up some tripods here and let's fix the rest of these tires. I think there's 3 or 4 more to go. I have a whole bunch of tubes up there yet. I don't know how many. Probably, I think 8 left I can choose from. Let's roll. Okay, well, apparently just standing near this machine causes problems with these inner tubes, because I'm just standing here and all of a sudden I could just hear hissing coming out of this tire. I'm walking back and forth looking what's going on, where's the hissing coming from, and yeah, I get right down onto the valve there, and it's not the end of the valve, it's down in around the hole of the rim, and this tube just failed, just sitting here. The tube inside the tire failed, brand spanking new. I just don't even know what's going on. It wasn't so hard. Now, you probably noticed I can't break the bead on the bottom of these little tires. This thing just won't go up to the rim. So I got to flip it over, do the underside of the rim first with this guy. And then flip it back over. Do it the right way. Okay. Now the other thing I did, not sure if you can see this, but I had to, the pin here that holds a car rim in place when, the whole thing turns, won't reach into this deep rim of an ATV rim. So I've had to just square off a little bit of round tubing to slide over that. And then when I put it on, valve side towards me, I just slide this little bolt down through, and then it won't turn. Okay. I'll have to hold the tire. There we go. There we go. Oh. I'm just going to clean up the inside of the rim that's all rusty because the tube is going to be resting on that, and I know it'll wear through the rubber tube pretty quickly, I would think. See? Not even a thing. There you go. Maybe. Maybe. There we go. There it goes. Woo. Not even close. Enough. All right, every single lug nut I take off this thing has to be tapped because they're just going on way too tight. There's 80 lug nuts on this thing. I should really make you watch every single one, but I wouldn't do that, of course. A little bit of tapping lube. Drop the tap into it and get on it. Clean off the top. I don't have airline over here, but I'll just use a rag. And get on to the next one. Okay, you'll see I've got NECs on everything. On the plate that the rim is going to bolt to, and on the threads. Also, I'm not sure if I showed you this last time, but there's little foam inserts between the wheels that just help for flotation. I'm not going to try to pull them off because they're all nice and tight on there right now, but they're like two halves that fit together. And it's a kind of a good idea to help with flotation, especially if you don't have a lot of air in your tires. All right. All right there. All right, let's check these transmissions. I see there's like a bolt on top, and then like I don't even know what's going on here. I'm just gonna try loosening the top one and leave the bottom one in first. Get that out of the way. What's that? 11/16 maybe? Perfect. That turns nice and easy. So maybe this will be a dipstick. I'll try to get my big hand out of the way there. Okay. I would think this is just a cap. And oh, it's a dipstick. Look at that. Oh, of course it hits it hits the brake rod. It'll go by. You just gotta turn, just force it just a little bit. Whew. Oh, I don't see anything on this stick. I don't think there's anything down in there. So it's probably a good thing I didn't go for a big marathon ride. No, oh, there's little something on the tip there, but that's not good enough for me. So it doesn't look like a fun job adding to that teeny little hole. Probably the idea is you can remove the whole thing, and then you got a bigger hole to work with. You know something, I just realized there's no mark on the dipstick. Well, how hard would it be? I got to go in and look at the manual because it's probably a measurement of some sort. I would think if it's touching at all. No, that rod goes right to the bottom of the tank. So I just had a little dripping on the bottom there. I gotta go read the manual. Okay, gearbox oil. We want 80W90 oil in it. I forget what I've got out there. All right, so just do all the things that I already did. And then here we are. It's full when it's 1 inch up on the dipstick. It's funny because when I started working at Argo, my first job was marking the gearbox level on the dipstick. And they don't even put a mark on the dipstick on the Bush machine. That's funny. You just have to know it's 1 inch up on the dipstick. And how you, I guess, do that is you just got to keep throwing some in. And I mean, I suppose, you know, if it was empty, but you don't know if it's empty, you're just going to have to keep reassembling it and checking it with the dipstick, taking it all apart again until you get 1 inch. All right, enough. Okay, I think that got loose. There we go. Oh yeah. Just be careful so a big gob of something doesn't fall down in there. Oh yeah. There we go. God damn it. Oh boy. I think it's up an inch. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a dent, like a mark in this rod up 1 inch, just so that I don't forget next time. All right, first things first. Measure up an inch and make a little mark with the pen or marker. Okay, so I got that teeny little mark there. Now I can hit it with a chisel lightly. Okay, hammer. Don't need those anymore, I don't think. Okay, hold it down with the chisel and give it a tap. Okay, now there is a little mark in the stick. Very little, but that's all you need. Now the dipstick tube for the gearbox in an Argo is an actual tube. It's not a solid rod like this, so it would actually crimp it. This is just leaving a little mark, so maybe I'll just run the other side and make another little mark. There you go. Yeah, that's something to look at now. Okay, we are right about at the crimp mark. So here we go. 1 inch up on the stick. We got oil in that one. That's all she needs. Just snug again. That'll do. Other side. There is a little lip so that if, you know, dirt was like a thin layer on the transmission case itself, it's not going to jump up and in that hole. All right, I know from experience that that's going to be the right amount. Oh, that's fine. Okay, I feel good about that. Now, what about... Okay, let's take a look. What do we got down here? Oh boy. You'll see that little plumbing fixture in the upper corner there. It's just on by hand, so I'm just going to turn that off. And it is a dipstick. Oh, look at that. It's got lots of goop in there. Now, it also says in the manual it's supposed to be 1 inch up on the dipstick. There is a crimp mark this time, and it's actually up further than 1 inch. So, I like that. So I'm going to put it back in and just do another check. Yeah, that's all right. It's pretty gross. It's not clean oil, but it's a little bit above the mark. But I've decided that's fine. So I'll put this back in and just hand tight again because tools are not going to work down in there. Beautiful. That means all my fluids are up. We can go for a ride. Okay, that just snugs itself down on there. Oh, I wish I could just take some time and a couple of cans of degreaser and degrease this whole thing, but I'm way too impatient. I need to go for a ride like right away.